Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42. Now it happened, as they went, that he entered a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she approached him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore tell her to help me. And Jesus answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you're worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed, and Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her. She really wanted to serve Jesus. She wanted to make sure that he had the best food, the best accommodation, the best company. She was determined to make sure that her special Lord would get special treatment. She did everything she could, used all her energy to make him feel at home, to feel special and important. She really loved him. Let's not get too critical of her. But her sister was starting to get on her nerves. She didn't seem to care about giving Jesus the best, the most special meal he could imagine. She just sat there, listening to him, talking to him. Listening, talking, there was work to be done. Didn't Mary even notice and how hassled and stressed she was getting? Didn't she notice the pots and pans boiling over? Didn't she smell the food burning? Didn't she see that the vegetables needed preparing, that the bowls and plates needed to be put out? True, they had a brother, Lazarus, but she wouldn't expect a man to be any help. So why didn't Mary do something? It's been like this ever since they had heard that Jesus was coming. Mary, her beloved, but also slightly annoying younger sister, had just got excited and a bit dreamy about the prospect of the Lord coming to their house. She, Martha, in her practicality, had just seen a load of work that needed doing. She'd had enough. She needed help. Now. She tried dropping hints, maybe banging the pans around loudly so that Mary could hear that her help was needed. But nothing worked. A more direct approach was needed. If Jesus told her to lend a hand, surely she'd get up and do something. Martha approached Jesus, speaking to him for the first time since he had arrived. Don't you care how hassled I am, that Mary has left me to do all the work? Tell her to help me. That should do the trick. You can almost feel her frustration, sort of frustration that Oliver Hardy used to sometimes have with Stan Laurel in the Laurel and Hardy films. Why don't you do something to help me? But Gigi's reply wasn't what she was hoping for. Martha, Martha, you're stressed out about a lot of things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is best. It won't be taken away from her. The reply was not what she expected, and it must have hit her hard. She really loved him, and was trying to express her love in her service to him. But here he was, telling her that she'd got her priorities upside down. He didn't need or want an elaborate meal with expensive foods prepared to cordon bleu recipes. Instead, what he wanted was for her to listen to him, to spend time with him, to talk with him, to be his disciple rather than his servant. Elsewhere he said, Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. This was not Jesus saying that work for him was not important or needed. Indeed, in the earlier part of the very same chapter, he urged his disciples to pray that the Father would send workers to bring in the harvest of the kingdom of God. but instead he said the true service to him starts and ends with spending time with him, listening to him, talking with him, letting him transform our lives by being his disciples, by being his friends. It is only by starting from the right place that our service and work is of any value at all. We can be like Martha. I certainly can, and often am. I charge about, trying to do things for him, trying to serve him in my own strength, to rush around getting hassled and strained and stressed. Those who are about the hall during the week will be able to testify to seeing me stressed out and also to not being very efficient in what I'm doing. But Mary sat at the feet of Jesus. By being with him, she was gaining strength from him. She was putting first things first, taking care of what was most important. She was giving him what he wanted and needed more than anything else. Later on, we see her working, doing what her sister would regard as service by supporting Jesus at the cross and going to the tomb to anoint his body on that first Easter Sunday. Ask the Father to send labourers for the harvest. Martha, Martha, you're worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen which is best, and it will not be taken from her. Two things said by Jesus in the very same chapter of Luke that might seem to contradict each other at first hearing. Calling for workers, calling for people to serve him, to be active for him, but then saying that the most important thing is for us to spend time with him, to listen to him, to be with him. But actually there's no contradiction. He wants to spend time with us. He wants us to listen to him, to talk to him, to enjoy his presence. That's how we can receive the strength we need to work for him, to do what he wants in the world. This is not a call to remove ourselves from the world, but to be active in it for him. But only when we seek him first, seek to know him, to have a relationship with him, to be his disciple and his friend, that we will be able to serve him as he wants. That is why he said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. So let's get our priorities right, and let's understand what it is he wants of us. Let's give him what he wants, ourselves, our attention. Let's love him by listening to him, by being with him, by being his disciples and his friends. Then, and only then, can we be his representatives in the world around us. He's not looking for servants. He's looking for disciples and friends to be his representatives in the world. And we can only do that by listening to him and spending time with him. There's a song that says, in the secret of thy presence, in the hiding of thy power, let me love thee, let me serve thee, every consecrated heart. Blessed Lord, to see thee truly, and to tell as I have seen, this shall rule my life supremely, this shall be the sacred claim. Sealed again is all the sealing, pledged again my willing heart, first to know thee, then to serve thee, then to see thee as thou art. Thank you.